Yo, what's up? It's your boy Outlook, back another day, making another video. Today I was just thinking about, the whole concept of, like excuses and looking at your life and looking at, how to learn how to take accountability. And, what I see happening a lot is, like, even sometimes we feel like the excuses we have are valid, and they may be completely valid, but the problem with allowing ourselves to have excuses is then it puts the control outside of ourselves. It puts it into some external factor that we essentially have no control over, and then basically we're just screwed because now we can't do anything about it. But it's an easy fix as well. It's a lot easier to use an excuse than it is to take accountability for it. But from the various conferences I've gone to the various books I've read, one thing that I've really learned, and I'm not necessarily the best at yet, but like I'm getting a lot better at applying in my life and really working on right now, is the concept and the idea of not having any excuses. And you may have a completely valid excuse. Like I remember the example I heard, I think it was in Grant Cardone's 10X, which was like the concept of, like, imagine if the power goes out, right? It's so easy to blame that on the electric company. They're the ones that supply the power. So if the power goes out, obviously it's their fault. It's something on their side, and you're just going to wait for them to get the power back on. But the problem is when you use the excuse of the power is out because of the power company, then it puts the control outside of yourself, right? And so if instead you look at this as like, how is this my fault? And you realize that, I didn't have, I could have had a backup generator. Why don't I have a generator at my house? If the power went out, I could just launch up my generator and get power back online, and then I don't even have any issues. So when you learn to take accountability like that, you can, instead of, passing off the obstacle or the issue as, like an excuse and passing it off and putting it outside of yourself, all of a sudden you hold yourself accountable, and you don't look for excuses, you look for solutions. And then, if you do that with everything, I think you'll start to get a lot more control in your life and get a lot more of what you want, instead of, letting external circumstances control your reality. And, like I said, this isn't something I've perfected. I think it's going to take, it's a habit, it's like gratitude, like I talked about on the last Outlook. These are skills, right? These concepts are things that we have to learn to develop in our life, and we got to learn to make it a habit. And like I was saying yesterday, your brain's lazy. And what I mean by your brain being lazy, I mean, like, it looks for the path of least resistance. So when you have these thought patterns, and the more you make them, your brain makes a path, and your brain will inherently take the easiest path, which is the one that's the most ingrained in your system. And so when looking at doing, these types of, changing your thought patterns, it's going to take some time to get good at it. But over time, if you do it enough, it'll eventually become second nature. And, it may not make a huge difference overnight, but it's more about finding these things, identifying these principles, and then slowly, trying to make them part of your life. And then if you do that over time, it'll add up, and then you'll look back. I don't think I really ever see it looking forward like, dang, like, this is changing my life right now. But it's like I look back and I'm like, damn, these little decisions on a day-to-day basis, over time, they really start to add up. And so, yeah, stop making excuses, treat everything like it's your own fault, and then instead you'll come up with solutions. So, yeah, Outlook number 4. Hope you like it.
Let's get it.
Peace.
My frequency is raising every day that I'm living. My frequency is raising every day. My frequency is raising every day that I'm living. Learn to jump and start to trust a leap of faith. My frequency is raising every day that I'm living. My frequency is raising